In another state bordering Mexico, voters will get the chance to vote on whether or not to make it legal to smoke pot just because they want to. The measure will be on the California ballot in November. CNN's Ted Rollins is joining us now from Los Angeles with more on if this proposition passes. Some people say it would kill Mexico's drug cartels. But what's going on right now, Ted?
Well, Wolf, that would make sense. If they make it legal, then that business gets away from the Mexican cartels, and that would reduce the level of violence. But according to a new RAND study, that may not be the case. Of the estimated 3,300 metric tons of pot consumed in the United States each year, as much as 2/3 of it comes from Mexico, according to a study released by the RAND Corporation. But the study also concludes that legalizing pot in California would barely impact the drug cartels.
It's important to realize these groups have portfolios. They're not only trafficking marijuana, they're trafficking methamphetamine, heroin, cocaine. They participate in other types of services. And so they generate revenue from a lot of sources. And exporting marijuana to California is only one of them.
The study concludes that drug cartels would only lose between 2 and 4% of their export revenue if pot were legal in California, because Californians grow so much of their own. Legalizing pot, say opponents, won't hurt the cartels.
The whole argument about taking away crime profits and reducing crime is all nonsense. It's not going to change the motives of the cartels. It's going to increase the motives of the cartels because they're going to want to sell their drugs here as well.
They will find a way, and they will simply underprice the even lower price of consumption that we have now, and you will have even more drugs available because you'll have competition from the black market at a lower price.
Those in favor of legalization disagree, arguing that violence in the U.S. and Mexico would drop.
Every day that we wait, 50 more people die in Mexico. Every day that we wait in the cities in the United States, we have young men and women who are dying at the hands of violent drug dealers.
Now, Wolf, there was one scenario that the RAND study came up with that could potentially hurt the cartels, and that is if legal pot was sold in other states of California, if it was illegally sold in other states. But the odds of that happening, because, of course, the federal government's guard will be up if pot is made legal here in California. In fact, that's assuming that the federal government even allows California to legalize marijuana. That's something that we don't know at this point. We'll have to find out what the federal government does if indeed the Prop 19 does pass here in California.
And Ted, we're getting some more information on this part of the story right now as well. Even if Californians do vote to legalize marijuana, the federal government apparently plans to uphold its anti-drug laws in the state. The Associated Press reporting that the Attorney General, Eric Holder, has now written a letter to former chiefs of the Drug Enforcement Administration vowing to vigorously enforce federal drug laws in California. Holder reportedly calls efforts to legalize pot, and I'm quoting now, a significant impediment to fighting drug traffickers. Not the